In 1933, Gus Greenlee decided to match Major League Baseball and create an all-star game of his own. With the help of Robert Cole, the owner of Chicago American Giants, Cumberland Posey, the owner of Homestead Grays, as well as black newspaper writers like Bill Nunn and Roy Sparrow, Black Baseball's first All-Star Game was organized in September of 1933. The Negro League format was much less organized than that of their white counterparts. Therefore, the fan voting, conducted by the major black newspapers such as Chicago Defender and Pittsburgh Courier, was based on regions rather than leagues. The players were divided into East and West leagues. Appropriately enough, the contest was dubbed the East-West All-Star Game. The East was represented by teams like the Pittsburgh Crawfords, Homestead Grays, Philadelphia Stars, and Kansas City Monarchs. The West was comprised of players from Chicago American Giants, Nashville Elite Giants, and Cleveland Giants. The top vote receiver was Oscar Charleston, the first baseman for the Pittsburgh Crawfords. Willie Foster, the pitcher for the Chicago American Giants, and the half-brother, black baseball's pioneer Rube Foster, was second most popular player. Many more notable black stars were on the rosters for both teams, including Cool Papa Bell, Biz Mackey, Josh Gibson, and Turkey Stearns. One notable player that was absent was Satchel Paige. Though listed as Pittsburgh Crawford and voted for by the fans, he recently jumped Gus Greenlee's contract, electing to play instead for the Bismarck Churchills, an integrated semi-pro team in North Dakota. The game was scheduled for September 10th in Chicago, Illinois' Comiskey Ballpark. 20,000 people were in attendance, a number that was deflated by the rain just an hour before the game. Still, the contest was started as scheduled at 2:30 in the afternoon. Willie Foster pitched for the West, while Sam Streeter, likely taking Satchel Paige's spot, represented the East. With Willie Foster on the mound, the game opened up with Cool Papa Bell flying out to left fielder Steel Arm Davis. In the home half of the first, Sam Streeter struck out the first two batters he faced and retired the next four. Judd Wilson got the first hit in East-West history, singling to left off Foster with one out in the second. In the third, the West got the first run. Sammy Bankhead beat out an infield single, advanced on a sac bunt by Larry Brown, then scored on a two-out single by Turkey Stearns. Stearns would be later thrown out stealing second, but the West had taken the lead. The advantage was brief. In the top of the fourth, Willie Foster walked Rap Dixon on 5 pitches and then beamed Oscar Charleston. Biz Mackey was next to bat, striking out on a hit and run. Both Dixon and Charleston advanced safely on the play. Judd Wilson proceeded to ground out to second. Fielding the ball cleanly, the second baseman Leroy Morney tried to throw the runner out at home, but Dixon was safe at the plate. Judd Wilson advanced to second on the play, drawing a throw and allowing Oscar Charleston to score as well. Dick Lundy drew another walk. Vic Harris hit an easy grounder to second. Morney committed yet another error, fumbling the ball and loading the bases. John Henry Russell was next, executing a perfect suicide squeeze, bunting down the first base line and knocking in Wilson. By the time Sam Streeter grounded out to end the inning, the East had a 2-run lead. But the lead would not last for long either. In the home half of the fourth, Willie Wells led off with a double to left. Steel Arm Davis hit a double of his own, knocking in Wells. Mule Settles was up next, hitting Streeter's second pitch over the left center wall for a home run. The West retook the lead, if only momentarily. In the top of the fifth, Rap Dixon singled. Willie Foster then hit Oscar Charleston once again. Biz Mackey singled as well, loading the bases. Judd Wilson then knocked in 2 runs with a single. The East was once again on top. In the bottom of the sixth, Willie Wells singled and advanced to second on a sac bunt by Steel Arm Davis. He then scored on Alex Radcliffe's double. Bertram Hunter came in to relieve Streeter, but proved a little more effective. Mule Settles knocked in Radcliffe to take a 6-5 lead. Mule Settles then scored on a single by Leroy Morney. The West took the lead once again, and this time for good. Willie Foster regained his composure, holding the East's lineup at bay and pitched and scored the 7th and 8th innings. The West, meanwhile, knocked in 2 more runs against Hunter in the 7th, forcing John Henry Lloyd to bring in George Britt to relieve. Britt gave up 1 run in the 7th and 1 more in the 8th. Coming into the top of the 9th, the West had a 6-run lead. By this time, Willie Foster was tired. But despite the availability of great arms like Shu Cornelius and Percy Bailey, Jim Taylor kept Foster in the game. George Britt led off the 9th with a single. Leroy Morney then bobbled a cool Papa Bell grounder, committing his 3rd error and putting the runners on the corners. Rab Dixon and Oscar Charleston hit sacrifice flies, knocking in Britt and Bell. With 2 outs, Josh Gibson came to bat. He hit a screaming liner that flew out to end the game. Sam Streeter took the loss, having been beat up by the West All-Stars. Bertram Hunter and George Britt did not do much better. Willie Foster, on the other hand, despite a less than stellar outing, became the first and only pitcher in East-West history to throw a complete game. The star performer was Mule Settles, who went 2 for 4, having scored 2 runs and knocked in another 3. The game was hailed as a success by the black press. Just like the White All-Star game, the East and West game became a fixture for the Negro Leagues.